Welcome to Financial Focus, brought to you by GulfCoast Financial Services founder and CEO, John Kuykendall. John and his team of financial, legal, and tax professionals have provided North Florida savers and investors sound, comprehensive financial guidance for over 25 years, helping you to achieve important life and planning goals. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more Financial Focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net.
Welcome back into the program. This is Financial Focus with the best of the best in financial services, as named by the readers of the Lake City Reporter, 7 years and running. The team from GulfCoast Financial Services, founder, CEO John Kuykendall here with us, keeping us financially focused each and every episode of the program. John, always a pleasure. Thank you for providing the guidance and the common sense approach that you do.
Thank you, Peter. It's great to be here. I really enjoy our time together and the fact that hopefully we can impart some knowledge out there and talk about some things that are current and also help our listeners answer some questions about what they need to know about financial planning, taxes, insurance, and all the other things that we discuss here.
Well, I know that you get a lot of questions there in your office. You get a lot of questions submitted to the website, GulfCoastFinancial.net, ladies and gentlemen. You can go right to the contact page. If you'd like to hear a question addressed on air, you're welcome to submit it there. Or if you'd like to speak about it one-on-one with a team member there from GulfCoast Financial Services, pick up the phone, give a call, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. We'll address a few of those questions that have been submitted a little later in the program. But John, I want to talk about taking risk. And we take risks at certain points in our life. Sometimes we're thrill seeking. We're out on an adventure. We may take a risk. Maybe we take a risk and change a job for career or family advancement. Sure. In the investment world, it is like it's taught as second nature that we have to take risk in order to make financial progress. Now, they seem to be attached when it's talked about with the returns that we can expect to make. If we take more risk, we'll make higher returns, when in fact, those two things are not necessarily as correlated as they are always made out to be.
Well, no, Peter, that's right. I mean, the problem is the average investor really makes a lot less than what the S&P 500 makes every year. I think, the average investor makes less than 3%. So, that's not a lot of money when you look at the historical return of the S&P, which is, over 9%, the stock market in general. So the problem is that if we take too much risk, then we get concerned about it and we end up selling before we're supposed to. The market goes down. I have a buddy that called me yesterday because the market was down and he's concerned. And as I tried to explain to him and finally did, and that's the reason that everyone needs a financial advisor, if nothing else, just to hold their hand and keep them steady during the market. Yeah. But, if we look at how much we've made this year, the fact that he lost a little bit of money last week in the market was really, he's still way ahead this year. And he's way, way ahead of where he started when we began 15 years ago. So, the amount of risk that I always say that the amount of risk that you should take is the amount of risk that you can sleep at night with. Because if you take too much risk, you're gonna make a knee-jerk reaction. When the market goes down, you're gonna sell at the wrong time. You're gonna get back in, and you're not gonna make any money that way.
Well, so if it was correlated as it's made out to be, John, and you take more risk, you get more return, then we would all be aggressive or speculative investors. But we're not, because it's not the returns that is the true gauge of risk. It is how much we can afford or we may lose if we take that risk.
That's right. How much can I afford to lose and still sleep at night? And that number varies for everybody. I mean, because of where I am and what I know, I can be more aggressive than someone who hasn't been doing this for 50 years. So, it just depends on where you are, what your education is, and what you feel comfortable with. I have some clients that they don't want to take any risk because, they just don't feel comfortable worrying about a little downturn in the market, even though long term they'll make more money. So we have products for those, and we have investment options that we put them into so that they can get a fixed rate of return, or they have a bond portfolio. There are many ways to do it, but not everybody is a gambler. And so that thing about the more risk I take, the more I'm going to make is not right. Theoretically it is, but if you can't hold on when the market's down, then you don't need to be in that aggressive portfolio.
And when we talk about risk in the sense that we have so far in the program, John, we are really just talking about one very specific type of risk, the market risk, the risk of losses when the market goes down. But in the financial world, there are numerous other risks that we need to be aware of and to address through comprehensive planning.
Well, that's right, Peter. I mean, we have to worry about our tax risk. We have to worry about our inflation risk. We have to worry about longevity risk, which is a multiplier of everything because we're living longer. I mean, the chances of someone now living to 100 is greater than it's ever been. And so we have to prepare for that. And so all those risks involved just compound whatever you're doing in the market. But we have to cover all those. And that's why we have income planning, is we try to sit down and cover all of those risks as we go through the plan.
Well, if you would like to come up with that comprehensive plan to identify and address the many risks that we do face in our financial life each and every day, pick up the phone, give the team from the GulfCoast Financial Services a call. They'd be happy to speak with you. John and his team have been serving clients for 30 years, helping them plan proactively, and repeatedly been named best of the best 7 years in running by the readers of the Lake City Reporter in financial services. Tip to the cap, feather in the cap for the job that they do there. So pick up the phone, give them a call, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. You can also go online, gulfcoastfinancial.net, and submit your questions there if you would like to have a specific question addressed on air, or just let them know that you'd like them to be in touch, and they will get back in touch with you for a specific answer to your question, as many have. And John, we've got some questions here. Thought we could maybe answer and address a few of these. One that we received: I have heard that the Social Security system will go broke in the next 10 years. Is that true? And what should my wife and I do about it? Great question. I'm hearing about it too.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great question. There was just a new report by the Social Security Administration that just came out that showed that the Social Security Fund will take in less or pay out more than they're taking in. They're already doing that, but their fund will run out in 2033. Now, what that means is that there's enough money in that fund to pay everyone 76 cents on the dollar at 2033, unless the government goes in and does something to booster it, or better chances the government will go into it and take away some of the benefits for those of us who have a little bit more income than those that don't.
Maybe they could just dump $3.5 trillion into it, John.
They could, but they need that for global warming and other things, and so I'm not sure that they're going to be able to find that.
I jest, but there are things that they have done before to adjust and make it a little bit different benefit, but make it solvent so that they could continue paying those promised benefits.
And some of us are going to feel the effects of that, Peter, because the way that the last time this happened was during the Jimmy Carter administration. And Jimmy Carter's administration came out and they said, okay, we're going to notch out of our Social Security benefit those that were born, I think it was from 1920 to 1925. And those people would get 75 cents of the dollars owed them. And so their benefit was cut 25%. And that kept Social Security funded. And we haven't had any problems since. But those people never got their money back. And so when they passed away, which most of them now are gone, there was never any benefit paid to anyone on the money that they didn't get. So the good chance is that there are going to be some of us that are going to pay the price for not having it there. And so one of the new calculators that we just got in was, okay, let's plan your Social Security now, and then let's plan it if there was a haircut. And so you only got 76 cents on the dollar. How's that going to look over your retirement? And I think that's something that we need to be looking at.
If that's what they're telling us, take it at face value and include that in planning projections. It would make sense to me and make me feel a little bit more confident that what I have is going to be something that I, at least in theory, can count and rely on. But of course, it's the government, so we know things can change. Hopefully, they make some adjustments and change it for the better. Another thing that they've done is sort of graduate out the full retirement age. And if I'm 41, if I had to wait an extra year or two to solidify the system and know at least something was there for me, I think I'd be willing to do that at this point in time. And if my son had to wait a little longer, maybe he needs to in order to make sure the system is there, but also make sure that he eventually gets something as well. I think that would be a change that would be proactive and well thought through. They've done it before. They could do it again. John, another question that was submitted on the website, on the contact page at gulfcoastfinancial.net. Do I need to take an RMD this year? I didn't have to take one last year.
Okay, if you're taking RMDs, then yes, you have to take one in 2021. Last year, due to COVID, our RMDs were waived. Now, if you're 71 or 71 and you haven't taken one because of the RMDs were waived last year, then you don't have to take one until next year. So RMDs were moved from 70 to 72. And when we say RMD, we're talking about the required minimum distribution that you have to take from your retirement accounts, your IRA, 401ks, 403bs, anything that's deferred. So that's been pushed back to 72. But if you were taking them prior to that, like I was, not that I wanted to, but I have to, then we have to take one this year because they're back in.
A number of other questions here, and I think many of them we've answered, we've talked about. We had somebody that thinks the stock market is way too high. They're afraid of it and making a big correction. They ask, what should they do? Had another person that I guess they want to start a business in retirement. They ask, what should it be? What steps do I need to take in order to get my affairs in order? That's in air quotes there. I like this next one. Is it important to have a new Roth IRA account each time you do a Roth conversion? Because they mention the 5-year rule. Now, John, as I understand it, that 5 years is from the very first time the account is open. You don't have to wait 5 years from every additional dollar that's converted or put in, correct?
Correct. If we're doing a Roth conversion, we can do them into the same account. The 5 years was because of the startup and the 5 years earning test. But if you're over 59 and a half anyway, and you're doing a conversion, then there's no problem anyway, because you can take the money out anytime you wanted to. Forget about the 5-year rule. So yeah, you can put it in the same account. Actually, you can combine them. I'm amazed at the number of accounts that different people have. They retire and they've got 4 401ks out here and a couple of Roth IRAs and a couple of IRAs. Why don't you combine all that stuff and get it where you can manage it and find out what your real risk is, because you're not doing that if you've got them all separated.
So again, these are things that with the help, the guidance of a qualified, experienced financial professional, you might be able to get some clarity on, whether it's a quick question you want a direct answer to, you want to hear discussed on the radio, or if you'd like to sit down for a confidential, one-on-one, thorough review and strategy session of your comprehensive plan. Pick up the phone, give Gulf Coast Financial Services, John Kuykendall and his team a call, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018, or you can go online and you can be in touch on that contact page at GulfCoastFinancial.net, GulfCoastFinancial.net. You got any ideas for the business to start up in retirement, John?
Well, one of the best things for a business starting off, is certainly, the simple IRAs work really well. You match 3% of whatever the employee puts up. There's no cost as far as 5,500 accounting and all the things that are expensive with a 401. So that's what I would recommend. And certainly, I would start off with some key man life insurance because it's a way to build some cash value and also to keep the company covered. A lot of times people pass away and leave the businesses to their family, and they don't have the money to either run them or hold on to them until they can sell them.
But one thing's for certain, when we go into business, we need to think about the plan for one day getting out of that business,
right,
and how we are going to do that. That doesn't start the day that you start thinking about selling your business. That starts the day that you think about going into business. And so
right.
Plan for retirement early, save often and as much as possible. Right, John?
That's right. I mean, you want to do that, but you want to save every dollar you can. You're going to need it for retirement. Things are not getting cheaper. Things are going to get a lot more expensive. Peter, everything is so complicated now because everything, Medicare, Social Security, the amount of Social Security is taxed, how much I'm paying for Medicare Part B, all of those are commingled into how much I make each year. Things are going to change with the government. We know taxes are going up. We know things are going to get different. It's constantly evolving. And if you don't know where you are, come see us and let us help you with that.
Get a handle on it, ladies and gentlemen. You've got a resource. North Central Florida savers and investors have counted on them for 30 years, and they've been named best of the best in financial services the last 7 years straight and running. The team from GulfCoast Financial Services, John Kuykendall there to provide that guidance. Give a call, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. Again, that's 386-755-9018. John, we always appreciate your time here on the program.
Thank you, Peter. It's great being here. Have a good week.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more financial focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities, Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through GulfCoast Financial Services, Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. GulfCoast Financial Services, Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities, Inc. or Kovac Advisors, Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions.